Hey there, Hail Stalkers. Hope you guys are having a good, finally, Friday. Thanks for joining us for our noon forecast. We are watching for more severe weather going on across the center part of the country. We got two areas we're watching for that hail and high wind. There's a little bit of a tornado risk there. It's not as prevalent, only sitting at level 1 for parts of Missouri. We'll get into the weeds of what we're going to be seeing for those severe risks in the next couple of minutes. We're also going to give you that weekend outlook. We are looking at more possibilities for hail as we get into our coming weekend, and unfortunately things are going to stay hot too throughout the entirety of this weekend. So take a look at your weekend, what you're expecting for your storm reports already. We had a lot of wind reports across parts of the center part of the country. I do want to zoom in really quickly in toward parts where we actually saw some decent hail yesterday around the afternoon. This was over toward areas of South Dakota, Kansas, and Nebraska. Take a look at that. A couple reports upwards to almost baseball-sized hail in parts of rural Nebraska, South Dakota, just south of Rapid City. Nice little cluster of thunderstorms as well. Some of them got pretty windy as well. Had some reports up to 75, near 80 miles an hour in very rural parts of southeast Colorado. So a lot of those stronger winds. We also had some continuing severe weather across the East Coast. Several wind reports out of New Jersey. Actually, we have a video of Wall, New Jersey, where they actually had some pretty decent structural damage. Take a look at this. You see that's an economy in there. Completely falls down. Yeah, apparently police responded to structural damage because of wind, and that's what they came to. So quite a bit has been going on, not just in the center part of the country, but out towards the mid-Atlantic and even into areas of the New England area where we did have that 3-star in Connecticut not too long ago. But the most of the bulk of the severe storms were out in the center part of the country. Again, a handful of those hail reports in between Nebraska and Kansas. A lot of wind reports as this line of storms made its way through Kansas, got through Hays, Dodge City, didn't quite make it to Wichita with those stronger winds for yesterday. So we are watching right now one current severe thunderstorm warning. This is just to the east of Huntsville. Let's take a look at what we're seeing right now. Let's see if we can take a quick poke what this storm is warned for right now. Less than 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. So not expecting any severe hail out of this, but you could be seeing some hailstones around that nickel-sized, penny-sized hail. So not going to be damaging anything, luckily, causing any of those impacts. But those winds could cause a bit of a ruckus just outside of Huntsville. So current conditions, again, we've got a couple of these storms stretching from Nebraska down towards St. Louis. St. Louis is one of those areas we're watching for today, and there's those stronger severe storms in that line there heading toward parts of northern Alabama. A couple more clusters of thunderstorms near the nation's capital as well. So a lot of things going on right now. Got that high pressure slowly trying to trickle its way back into the region. We are watching, again, a lot of these storms across the eastern part of the country. Couple of showers trying to pull off of the Gulf there into New Orleans. So get some rain out there. And again, we're seeing developing, trying to see this open little slot here where we're going to see these storms trying to develop both toward Colorado and into St. Louis as well. So both these areas are going to be areas of contention for that severe weather. And also telling you, it is toasty out there. 91 Oklahoma City, Dallas 92, Houston's 86, Las Vegas 97 degrees, Atlanta's at 91. A little bit cooler in some parts of the eastern part of the country. You actually see this cold front that's moved through right now. Unfortunately, Atlanta, you haven't seen that cold front just yet, so it's still very warm out there. Take a look at your severe outlook for today. Again, two areas to watch for when it comes to that severe weather. We're seeing out here toward the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas. Got parts of Kansas and Colorado, New Mexico in there as well, and pretty much almost the entirety of Missouri, stretching from just about south of Moberly, making its way all the way down toward almost Joplin. So you got St. Louis and Kansas City both in that risk for today. Moving to tomorrow, that risk continues to trickle southward, almost into northwest Arkansas, moving its way past Nashville, almost clipping into Atlanta as well for your Saturday. So we are going to be watching that area as this high pressure begins to try to rebound. Noticing we're also kind of pushing that storm risk further and further east as that high pressure really begins to build out toward the west. And that's going to eventually push these storms off the coast, and more than likely by the time we get to our next work week, we won't be seeing much of anything. We'll be seeing just all that empty air and staying with a lot of high pressure, hot weather. I mean, it's July. You kind of expect hot weather at this point, but severe weather really being pushed off of the country and shouldn't be expecting much really in terms of severe weather coming into next week. And I'll show you why with the jet stream. Low pressure moving its way out of here. High pressure currently sitting in the Mojave right now. It's going to eventually be trickling its way through. It's again, you can see that's where that area, those storms, the lower, that level 1 risk for those storms on your Sunday out toward the Gulf states, because that high pressure is really built through. And as it stretches in, there could still continually be more of these storms. And here's the weird thing. With this high pressure moving clockwise right here, it could actually pull moisture out of the Atlantic and eventually make storms that are moving east to west. Yeah, when you get that high pressure actually above you, you can get those really weird east to west moving storms. So it's a possibility for your Monday, but that high pressure is really going to dig in across the country, seeing again this area of high pressure just staying there. We could see some storms trying to trickle in across parts of New England and mid-Atlantic, especially with these lines right here. We call these isobars. The closer they are, the faster the winds are usually blowing in the upper atmosphere. That causes a lot of those wind events that we've been seeing across the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic for the past couple of days. That could be something we could continually see. High pressure, again, maintaining right over the Gulf states. This is just going to be basically sending these storms up and away. So if you're a Canadian storm chaser, hey, maybe you could see something, but here in the U.S., no, it's just going to be mostly very stable air with this high pressure, not really expecting to go much of anywhere throughout this entire next work week. Let's get into your severe forecast for today. We are watching for two areas of interest right now for higher wind gusts. We could be seeing a higher possibility of seeing those winds across parts of Amarillo, again, maybe in toward Lamar, that Colorado area, trying to get in toward Dodge City, same thing, Jefferson City. You got maybe clipping into a little bit of Kansas City and St. Louis as well. We're kind of seeing, again, storms sparking up here, moving across, not quite the four corners, but maybe the kind of the four corners, I guess. But Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, stretching in across, almost making it to Wichita, kind of like yesterday. And then more storms firing along the Kansas City line and eventually making its way across Missouri as well. Also got a couple other storms trying to really fire across the eastern part of the country. Nashville, Charlotte, Washington, D.C., and Columbus, you're all in that level 1 risk for today. So just keep that in mind. A lot of places could see some of those stronger wind gusts as we do get into the latter part of your afternoon. So, hey, you know, we've had a lot of wind gusts the past couple of days. We could add some more. Tornado is really limited. Actually, they did kind of expand this out just a little bit in the most recent overview. But St. Louis and Kansas City, you're in that tornado risk. Only that level 1 for right now. A lot of these storms are expected to be elevated, meaning their cloud bases are going to be quite high. You want the cloud base to be very low to have a tornado. So tornado risk is going to be pretty limited, but best chances are going to be out toward parts of Missouri and into parts of Illinois and just ever so slightly clipping in to Kentucky. So your max forecast hail size, we're keeping it as we would yesterday. We did have a couple of reports that were over that 2-inch marker, but I think it's going to be tough for us to really break past that 2-inch marker for today. So 2 inches, that hen egg sized hail is probably going to be the largest hail that we will see for today. So let's look at the hail forecast. There's 2 areas that we're watching. Most of this area right here, again, stretching in from Colorado all the way in toward Missouri, maybe clipping just over so slightly into parts of Illinois. Also, a little area near Sioux Falls could be seeing some of that severe hail. Now, the reason why I have these connecting is because any storm that sparks up in this afternoon will have that hail threat. It's just as we get into the latter part of your afternoon and evening, we're going to see these storms really conglomerate into lines or clusters. And once they do that, hail risk becomes really low. I mean, it's not impossible to get these storms to have hail. It's just much harder than when they're in their supercell form, normally earlier in the afternoon. So again, storms firing up near Lamar, that's going to be the best chance to get those hailstones. Again, Kansas City as well. I think we could see some development making its way in towards St. Louis. That's why I have them in the yellow here. We're going to have a lot of those storms really move through, so I think it's a possibility. Wichita, you're at the level 1, but you still could see that larger hail as we head into the next couple hours with that highest hail risk. So keep it in mind. Future radar, here's the storms that are currently active right now. Again, as I show you what we're seeing for the next couple hours, there's those storms developing across Kansas City. They're trying to develop out here. We could see more of those starting to really spark up right here. But again, the first couple hours in the afternoon, that's what we'll be looking for. That's going to be the best chance to see those hailstones. Is going to be the first couple hours after these storms fire, because they're going to be, in these little supercell, these little dots here. I know they don't look like much on the radar here, but trust me, these pack a punch when it comes to hail a lot more than those larger clusters of thunderstorms. So as we continue into the afternoon, you can see there are these storms already into a line here, or into really just a cluster. We call those an MCS. But this cluster right here does not pose as big of a risk for hail as these small little cells do later into the afternoon and evening. So as we move into tomorrow, again, watching really closely for these storms to really start developing as we do head into that latter part of your afternoon. Again, could that be a hailer? Possibly. But really just watching those first couple of storms. Again, St. Louis with this one storm right here, that's kind of why I wanted to give that level 2, that moderate risk for the hail, that little yellow marker that you saw earlier for St. Louis. So I can think, again, St. Louis and Kansas City is probably going to be your biggest, larger cities that could see the best chance for hail. And the reason why I want to show you that, again, the significant hail model, we're seeing these yellows right here. And again, these storms, they don't want to really fire until later in the afternoon, but we got that storm energy here. It's all there. We're seeing plenty of yellow. Now, there's yellow up here in parts of North Dakota and Minneapolis as well, but as we overlay the radar, well, we're not seeing storms up here. So this is kind of really moot and not really the point that we're looking at for today is going to be those storms up in North Dakota, because there's not going to be any. Now, as we get into the afternoon, there are these storms right here that are going to try to spark up as we head into around 4, 5, 6 o'clock or so. Continue to see these storms trying to fire here in this area where, hey, could get some decently sized hail. Again, some of those not exactly red like we were seeing a couple days ago, but still darker oranges, that could get us up to those hen egg sized hailstones. So keep it in mind, if you're in parts of eastern Colorado, Kansas, or Missouri, you could see some pretty decent hailstones up to around that 2-inch marker. Tomorrow, we're going to be backing up just a little bit. Actually, this is a recent advancement. Actually, I want to show you this real quick, because this is brand new information right here. Because originally, they only had this out. You can see where actually I had them originally. So, well, if it'll let me move it, it's not going to let me move it. Give me just 1 second. Let me move it before. Oh, well. All right. Let's just get into it. So originally we were looking at only out toward parts of Oklahoma and Arkansas, but they have recently expanded this level 1 hail risk all the way out almost to Bowling Green in Kentucky, clipping parts of Indiana, Illinois, a lot of southern Missouri as well. So it looks like this area tomorrow recently got expanded for a good little bit of that hail. Again, still only level 1, so the size potential is kind of limited for tomorrow, but we still could be seeing some of those larger hailstones. They've also expanded this out as well with the wind forecast. This was also only going in toward Oklahoma City right about here. Now they've expanded it all the way down to Tucson, which I'll show you that in just a second. But again, best chances I think to get some of those stronger winds is going to be around here. That's going to be the best chances to get a lot of those storms, because what's going to happen, the first storms will fire close to around Oklahoma City. They'll be pretty strong, and then they'll become more widespread and possibly weaken a little bit as they get into Little Rock and Huntsville. So if I had to imagine one place is probably going to get the strongest winds with the best chance of getting it, that's probably going to be Little Rock for tomorrow. You can see they expanded it out a little bit toward Charleston, Washington, D.C., but they've also connected the beams here with this wind all the way down to Tucson. Originally, it was just a little Tucson on its own little island for the wind forecast, but they've expanded that out to connect it all for your Wednesday. Actually, I want to see if they've given a tornado. I doubt they do. See if they did do a tornado. Oh, they did do one. A little tiny one. That's the wrong place. They gave a really little tornado risk. This is out over toward Cape Girardeau, almost getting in toward, that's Paducah. So Paducah, Cape Girardeau, Poplar Bluff, those areas just ever so clipping the most northern sections of Tennessee there. But Yeah, it looks like newest update just came out a little early, actually, about 10 minutes early compared to what they usually send out the day 2 update. John, do we have any weather questions? No? Yes? We do have a weather question. What's the difference between hen egg and rooster size egg? That was for you, John. I don't know. That question was for you. Well, a hen egg size is about 2 inches. A rooster size egg is a miracle. So keep that in mind. All right, so let's take a look at this. We're kind of seeing a mix of slightly above average and below average temperatures across the country. But as this high pressure begins to really rebuild back in, we're going to see temperatures really climbing yet again. Again, that cold front does want to move through as we get into our Monday and Tuesday, so you get a brief respite in the Gulf states for some of those cooler temperatures, but it's just going to eventually take over the entire country with those temperatures getting very hot. This afternoon, going to be seeing temps close to the triple digits across Dallas, Oklahoma City. It was hot yesterday. It's going to be hot today. But it's going to continue. So again, looking at Birmingham, Memphis, 92 degrees, 98 in Jacksonville, Tallahassee. They got a heat advisory going on over there as well. Albuquerque, El Paso, near 100 degrees. Bismarck, 85. Rapid City, 91. Boise, 98. Billings, 94 in Billings. That is not fun. Oh, that's one of the icebox areas is what I'm usually accustomed to seeing. Again, still saying hot. 102 in Billings. Good night. That is hot out there. Look at that. Billings is hotter than Oklahoma City. Billings is hotter than San Antonio. Corpus Christi. Still hot down there, though, in the upper 80s to low 90s. But you can see for yourself, temperatures are way up there. You can see that cold front eventually trying to make its way through St. Louis. You're sitting in a nice, comfy 77. Right there, nice and comfy, 77. Getting into your Sunday, again, still seeing that cold front moving its way down. It could eventually get in toward the Gulf states before we start rebounding temperatures. Just look at this high pressure, though. Salt Lake City, 105. Billings, 109. I don't know if I'd buy 109. Models say it, though. And, you know, the high pressure really is going to be pushing an absolute walloping on us as we get into the next couple of days. So just be ready for it. It's going to be very, very hot as we get into our Monday and Tuesday with that high pressure rebounding. Bismarck, Rapid City, Billings, all 100 degrees. Whew, hot, very, very hot. Future radar, let's take a look at that one more time. Again, seeing a lot of these clusters of thunderstorms rolling across Missouri. Going to see them really trending toward a wind risk as they get to St. Louis with that second round. So your first round of St. Louis is probably going to be more along the lines of a tornado and hail threat. Meanwhile, we get to our afternoons, probably more almost an exclusive wind threat with a little bit of a tornado threat. Again, seeing more of these storms trying to make their way across Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. There is that risk right there. That's probably the reason why they've expanded that out, is because a lot of these models are kind of keeping a lot of these separated out. You can see the little cluster there, there, and there. So might be seeing more of a hail risk with some of these tail end Charlies, but you can still see the influence of that long line right there. That is going to be overall that big wind risk, and that will continue into the afternoon, evening, and overnight of your Saturday. Moving into your Sunday, there's that little low pressure. You can see that kind of trying to push through, and there's also that sign of that cold front as well, really trying to push through. Again, could be seeing quite a bit of these storms expected across the Gulf states, which shockingly is not seen a lot of storms the past couple of days, or really the past couple of months, all year really. As we get into our Monday, still seeing more of these showers and thunderstorms rolling across. I imagine we're probably going to have a level 1, maybe a level 2 risk sparked in for parts of the Gulf states for your Monday. But continuing to your Tuesday, you see that high pressure really beginning to build in. That is going to be that big influencer that we'll be seeing for this coming week as we really push a lot of these storms out. A couple showers here and there near the middle of that high pressure system, but overall just seeing that very large clockwise motion that's going to be really influencing most of the country. Only thing you'll really be seeing is a handful of those showers and maybe a couple rumbles of thunder inside the high pressure, but beyond that, nope, we are going to be hot. Oh yeah. Very hot out there. You can see almost all of us are in that very, very hot, and I believe it's probably going to be pretty dry across at least the northern and central plains. That is going to be the area that we'll be watching for the extreme temperatures really getting up there toward 100 to 105 degrees. The temperature outlook, pretty much everybody's above average when it comes to the extended rain outlook. Yep, there it is. Below average on the rainfall here. pulling some of that Gulf moisture when you're on the outskirts of that high pressure system. So you could be seeing some of that moisture getting pulled off of the Gulf, and basically with that, the high pressure sitting basically right here, you're going to be seeing moisture getting pulled off of the Gulf, and that will provide some of that rain across the Mojave and in toward parts of southern Texas. Any last questions, John, before we wrap it up? No questions. Well, hey, we're going to be hopping off here. We are going to be watching some storms that are developing, currently still going on across the region. Again, we got areas that are going to be influenced over toward parts of Missouri, a little bit of Illinois. We've also got the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas, a little bit of Kansas, Colorado, and New Mexico on that level 2 risk there. Moving to tomorrow, we got a larger but only one level 2 risk that is stretching from just south of St. Louis, including Memphis. I believe it's got Little Rock inside of it. Nashville, you're in there as well. Bowling Green, Huntsville, you're all in that severe risk for your Saturday. And then we're down to a level 1 risk on our Sunday. But it does include some pretty major cities, including Atlanta. Again, you got Nashville, Memphis, Little Rock. You got Fort Smith all the way on the most western side there. Got a lot of the Gulf states who, again, have not seen a whole lot of severe weather, especially hail this year. They've been really lacking in the hail department all year long. They've only had, I believe, one hail map, and that was in late February. So yeah, it's been a pretty, I want to say boring, I guess you could say, hail year for the Gulf states. But after that, I think we're going to be seeing a big drop off in our severe weather coming into our next work week. So just keep that in mind. But hey, we're going to be obviously posting more throughout the rest of the day today and into next week, and to keep you guys updated if there are any storms that do try to, shake up this weekend and of course next week. So follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We're always posting on all of those platforms. If you are interested in getting a hail map, we might have we've had a couple 3-stars the past couple of weeks. So if you are interested in getting yourself a hail map, give us a call, 855-334-4245. You can email us or get on our website. We can easily get you guys taken care of with a hail map. You can also go on the website. I believe it's HailTrace.com/hail-maps. That will give you a preview of the map, and then you can go from there on what you decide you want to do. So, hey, we're going to be hopping off here. We might see you later on today. We might see you this weekend. I doubt it, but for sure we'll be seeing you on next Monday as well. Same time, same place, right here at HailTrace. So see you guys later. You're all just